So what was your life like before the internment camps?
Well, I was just a kid, going to school, playing, and so forth. I was born and raised in Los Angeles. And May of '42 is when we were evacuated. And my family had moved to East Los Angeles to be with people we knew. And we went with them into camp, which was in Poston, Arizona. If you know where Parker Dam is, well, the camp was set up about 20 miles south of Parker. And Poston, P-O-S-T-O-N, was the largest of all the camps. There was 10 of them throughout the states. There's one in Colorado, Wyoming, Arkansas.
Manzanar is California.
Manzanar was in California. That was the only one in California. It's on the east side of the Rockies. In fact, part of it is still there as a memorial.
So, how was your life like in the internment camps?
Well, that first year was very, very hard on little ones and the seniors because we weren't used to that heat.
It was very hot.
And the water was very, very hard. It's just nothing was done to treat the water.
There were lots of dust storms.
What first comes to mind when you think of the internment camps?
Oh, I don't know. It's after that first year, it wasn't. I guess we kind of say we got used to it. A lot of things were organized administratively, and we had a PX and we had a police force there. Poston did not have any barbed wires or guards. And the reason is we're surrounded by the desert on 3 sides and the Colorado River on the one side. So if anyone wanted to, they'd been very foolish. Although, like I said, the town of Parker is only 20 miles away. But if one of us ever got to Parker, we'd be noticed right away.
The barracks where there were like 10 in a block, right?
About, yeah.
And if your family was large, like our family, there were 8 children, so, and our grandfather was with us, so there were like 11. They put us in 2 rooms.
Barracks were 100 feet long and about 20 feet wide, and divided into 4 units. They put as many as 8 in one unit. And in some units, they even had 2 different families. Because my family at the time was only 4 of us, and then we were in with another family. There's the mother and the son. So there were 6 of us.
Well, you should probably explain where your father was.
Yeah, my father didn't go with us. He was picked up on December the 8th by the FBI because of his involvement with the, there was actually a social society of Japanese men, and there's a separate one for women, and they're all from the same area in Japan. So they got together like once a month for social reasons, drink, and share experiences and so forth. And he also sent my 2 sisters and I to Japanese language school. I would go during the week for an hour a day after my English school. My sisters went on Saturday for about 6-7 hours. He later joined us late '44, early '45.
But he was sent to what, New Mexico?
He was in Lordsburg, New Mexico. And in May of '45, he died in camp. We left in August of '45 and came back to Los Angeles. I mean, Good questions.
Do you have any good memories of the camps?
Yeah, there's some, my two sisters met their future husbands in camp, which probably never would have happened if we hadn't gone to camp.
What was probably the most difficult part of being interned in the camps?
Well, probably that first year every year getting used to that weather. You'd get up in the 120s at times in the summertime. I mean, granted it was dry heat, but still, 120 is 120. It would have been a lot
There
worse.
wasn't any air conditioning or anything.
We had
So-
evaporative coolers that
Yeah,
everybody made.
so like, they made it, or like our father made one, and we dug under the house like a cellar, and we used to go down there to get cool. But I had fun because in our block, I would say maybe there's a half a dozen kids my age, and we just hung around together. We ran, and there was a canal that we had like a swimming pool, and we'd go over there and swim and play and whatever.
She happened to be in the same camp, her family, that I was in.
But we didn't know each other.
I knew of two of her older brothers because they worked in the recreation department. They set up tournaments, leagues of basketball and softball and so forth.
When you guys were told that you had to leave to go to the internment camps, what were some of the things that you had to give up?
Everything.
You only had...
We got one suitcase we can take with our belongings. We had bought a new car, and that had to be sold. I think we paid somebody paid us $200 for it. We had a farm, so we had like tractors and everything. And luckily, one of my sisters, I think it was one of her teachers, said that she would keep it. But after 4 years after the war, when we came back, I mean, it was not, you couldn't use it anymore. So you just had to leave whatever. But we were able to take one suitcase of personal belongings with us.
And you only had about 24 hours to do
Very
this.
little, 3 or 4 days anyway, huh?
What?
How much time did they give us to get our things ready?
What's the date of the executive order?
I don't know.
We left in May.
Yeah, but I think that after they told us that we had to leave, like, didn't you go to like
This
the
was
race?
February 42, so we had about 3 months.
Yeah, but we didn't get our orders that we had to leave like now until just before we had to go. Didn't you go to the stables at first, to the racetrack? No? You went straight to Poston? Or so did we?
A lot of them were sent to Santa Anita Racetrack, and they stayed in the stalls.
Only because the camps were not
Camps
quite
weren't all
ready
ready.
for all the people that they had to.
My parents had a grocery store on San Fernando Road, about a mile or so south of Glendale. And like I told you, my dad was taken on December the 8th of 41. And fortunately, we had this very good friend who's also had his store in another part of the city, and he came to help my mother sell the place. Sell, not the store, but the inventory. And that's when we found out who our friends were. We had this one lady who was, she worked at the church. I don't remember what she did exactly, but she offered to let us use her cellar to store our furniture and stuff if we wanted to. And another neighbor up the street, last day we saw him, that was the worst hour. We never saw him again. So we had, both ways.
When you were in the camps, did you have any way of knowing what was going on with the war?
I'm trying to remember.
Well,